Hi, my name is Bruce Heller. This is my first big mock, and only my second time presenting any mock in at a convention. It's LA City Hall. I did bring the top of it to Bricks by the Bay, where it won for Best Microscale, and also it's going to be in the next Brick Journal. But only the top of it. The base of it is what I made specifically in anticipation of BrickCon.
That's awesome. So I guess real quick, for residents of Los Angeles, will know what this building is. Of course, it's the Los Angeles City Hall, probably one of the most famous city halls in the United States, perhaps.
Right.
What makes this building significant?
Well, it's also been in a lot of movies. I mean,
Yes.
A lot of people will say, what is it, War of the Worlds? It gets destroyed.
Yep.
Your older audience might recognize it from Dragnet and from a lot of old Hollywood films. But the origin of this is a friend of mine who works at City Hall saw a small model of City Hall that I made out of the architecture studio set. And it was really it was much smaller than this and kind of crude, but he saw that and he's like, dude, I need to bring you to City Hall so you can get a tour. So we had a lunch, and he took me around, and I just kind of fell in love with the building. I want to do more with LA architecture because I think older LA architecture tends to get overlooked. I mean, there's a lot of fantastic,
Flashy stuff now.
Yes, exactly. And so I thought this would be a good start. Since I'd already done a miniature one, I could go a little bigger and way more detailed. One of the first problems I encountered was that the building is on a hill, and it's you don't notice it when you're there, but the first floor at the main entrance is the third floor on the other side. So I had to have it be on a hill. And instead of doing the sidewalks like a step, like actually putting a break in the tiles, I decided to use brick bending. So this goes up, I think, 2 plates, and then it goes up 4 more on that side. That's the steepest side, and then it goes all the way down on both sides.
So what was the most challenging part of the build? I see studs going in every which way. You have studs facing inwards and the bottom of plates facing outwards. What was the most challenging part for you? There's a ton of stuff going on here.
Yeah, there is. Okay, so there is, I don't know what they call it, but it's kind of like a little sidewalk that hugs the building on 3 sides. It's this sand red, okay? And if you look at any aerial shots of the building, it's very visible. And so I wanted to have that in there. But sand red only comes with there's only one tile. It's a 1x6. And so I had to figure out a way to make only 1x6s fit in there. But I didn't want the sand red to be visible from the side. So I nested them inside panels, and they're not floating in there.
That's that little strip of gray, right?
Yes, exactly. In fact, I could probably take off if you want to watch the process.
We're getting an inside glimpse here.
Oh, and you're going to see the only piece that's not attached to anything.
Floating?
It is kind of
trapped?
Inserted. Yeah, exactly. Trapped in there, and that's this. But let's see, this off.
And your palm trees are beautiful, by the way. They're very LA, tall, long.
They had to be in there. In fact, one of my next projects, I wanted to make more buildings by the same architect. He also did the Memorial Coliseum and Union Station, which is just a couple blocks from this. And you can't have any LA architecture without these palm trees. So that's kind of, I hope that to be the through line.
So you're saying that brown, tubing, flex tubing?
Yes, exactly. And cut to various lengths, varying lengths. Oh, wait, I have to pull this part off first.
Would you say this is like a Spanish revival kind of architecture? What is this, sort of a...
It's Art Deco.
Art Deco.
And it was inspired by... There are 2 other buildings, but one of them is like an ancient building. It's like a mausoleum in ancient Greece or something like that.
Interesting.
Oh, wait, this one comes off first.
So the end. Now see the interior.
Okay. Oh, and here's the thing. So I wanted to make the tower wider by using these tiles, but to do that, then these are no longer on any studs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to offset them. So they're set into the tower with axles. And so then perfectionist that I am, I didn't want to have any gaps. So I made this thing, which was just like, it resolves all the gaps.
Oh my goodness! And
So it's like
a little
they're
bracket
yes,
piece. It's like a
exactly.
half quarter
Exactly.
plate almost. Is that a
Yeah.
quarter plate? Yeah.
And a little Technic piece in there.
Oh my goodness! So the geometry just works out beautifully.
Yeah, it did work out. It took a while, but here you go. This is.
Yes.
So I had to use. There are brackets in there. There are headlight bricks just to get it to nest in there.
That is wild. So then so you have a bracket, or there's a quarter plate, and then that is what allows the. Oh my goodness.
And they had to be offset in two ways. They had because of the corner. You know, it had to be offset there and offset there. And it's just.
And when you were building this, what was the number one resource? Was there were you looking at other builds or
Oh,
just going with the flow? Yeah.
I have like all the all the different Lego books. You know, like Tom's, for instance, and just studying them. You know, when I got back into Lego, one of the things I noticed was, you know, AFOLs use parts in ways that they weren't originally intended.
Yes.
You know, or they use a part like a lightsaber. Like I used a lightsaber here, right in there, to make that tile sit inside that arch. And so, you know, when you're a kid, a lightsaber is a lightsaber, and you use it as a lightsaber, but it's also, you know, good to use as a, you know, for a building technique, to get an effect, behind the scenes kind of thing. So I just studied a lot of that. I'm a member of Legola, and they're super inspiring. There's a lot of great talent there. And, you know, I kept going back to the building. I kept revisiting the building, walking around.
You have access to the real thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the more I appreciate it, the more detail I wanted to put into it. Like the windows that go all the way around have like sand green. It's like lattice work. But I didn't want them to be just sand green, so I put the clear tiles on top of sand green, so it gave the feeling of sand green coming through. Here, you can see it right here. Hey, look at that.
That's awesome. And now the building itself is absolutely beautiful, and you also have a wonderful base here. Real quick, talk about what is the base? We have scenes, right?
So I love LA history, but I also love that the Lego architecture sets have a lot of little history, like
little side panels, right? While you're in instruction,
like pop-up videos that you say, yeah. So so I wanted that element in this. So one of the things, let's see. So I put the monuments that are in the park, I put them in the model. So there's a firefighters monument here, there's the fountain, and there's the World Peace monument, and I put drawings of them here. I did those drawings from photographs I took. And then I wanted to illustrate some of the people who were a part of the building's history and the city's history, including starting with Pio Pico, the last governor of California under Mexican rule, and then moving on to the first mayor, the first female council member, who actually was also the first female mayor for 36 hours when the mayor was out of town. So I thought that was really cool. It's like,
awesome.
Yeah. So, and that was in 1915.
1915.
Yeah, to have a female mayor is pretty
And
amazing.
when I watch documentaries about Los Angeles history, I always think it's amazing. Like Los Angeles was not much of a thing back in 1915, like compared to the millions of.
In the 1920s that it started blowing up, and in the 1920s the tallest building was, I think, 13 stories, and this is 32. See, I should know this.
You should know. It was on the spot.
32 stories. I think it's like 26 up to the observation deck or something like that. But they had to do a vote in the city council just to get it to go that high. Yeah. And I was reading in this book about the day it opened. And it was like this citywide, like there was a parade, Gershwin was there, and it was a huge deal because it was like, we're a city that's moving into the 20th century, and you know.
It's amazing.
Oh, this is another thing. Putting the antennas in there, inside that. In fact, I think. Let's see. You can see
Well, this is wonderful that you're kind of giving us the glimpse of the inside techniques used to.
Here it goes.
I see. Into the plate and then the plate sideways.
Yeah.
And then they stick. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep. And then also, these slope in a little bit. I put hinges down there, so you can see they wiggle a little bit. But I wanted to get that more of that Art Deco upward movement. So it's interesting. The lights lasted all this time, and now they're dimming a little bit.
And then
Lasted all weekend. So there's the architects. There's the mayor at the time of construction. The first African-American mayor, who was mayor for like 20 years, and the airport is named after him, as well as the hall that's at the, there's like a ceremonial hall that's in the tower, and the current mayor, Mayor Garcetti.
So what plans do you have for the building going forward? It's a wonderful build.
My friend at City Hall wants to get it in City Hall. Yeah, yeah.
So they have like a museum section of the City Hall, like you can put it in, or?
There are areas where there are exhibits, like cultural exhibits, depending on what month it is. And yeah, so we'll see.
Wonderful build. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh,
And one more thing?
yeah. So there's also a mosaic there. That's my first mosaic, and it's of a design that's in the floor of the rotunda. And the very last thing I'd like to show you is this side. I have the first 3 city halls that preceded this one. And this was interesting. I met the council member of the downtown LA district. And when I told him about this model, he told me that his grandfather rode in a donkey cart from Mexico in 1926 to help dig the foundation of City Hall. So I thought that was a great bookending to, City Hall before it was constructed to City Hall, in 2016. So, thank you.
Probably one of my favorite builds here at BrickCon this year. So absolutely wonderful.
I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you.